Guys, welcome back to the stream. So, if you guys were keen and joining the stream that was live just like, I don't know, 10 minutes ago, then you probably know that that stream shut down. So it appears that my computer is not strong enough to stream and play New World at the same time. So, we're not gonna do that, unfortunately. You see my graphics card. Ooh, my graphics card. I have a 3080. I have a beast of a graphics card. The problem is my motherboard is broken, so I'm only using an 8. I don't fully understand this, but instead of like the 16 slot, which is what your crazy graphics card needs, I'm only using an 8 slot, so I'm only able to use half my graphics card, and I only have 12 gigabytes of memory, which apparently is not enough because New World itself takes, what, 10? No, I have 16 gigabytes of memory and New World takes 12, so I got those numbers wrong. But New World just by itself takes 12 gigs of memory. So the combination between my low graphic card and my low memory, my computer just kind of has a fit because it wants to use the full graphics card and it wants to use all the memory, but my computer just cannot handle it. So instead, we are going to number 1. We're just gonna chill. We're gonna chill, watch some videos, specifically Ashes of Creation. Jam out to some music right here. So yeah, let's let me just make sure that I'm in the right category for this video. Alright, that is looking good. Ashes of Creation. They just barely came out with a brand new update, so I'm actually pretty excited to get going and see this here. Whew. Let me turn off the music. Okay. Guys, I always love these videos because this is like the little bit we have of Ashes of Creation so far. Man, oh man.
Hello everyone and welcome to our September development update. Hopefully all of you have been having a glorious month, as we definitely have been, at the grind getting a lot of things done, and we're going to show off some of that right here. We have quite a few videos.
She looks
to
way
share
different
with you,
without her
as well
glasses
as,
and her
our
hair
normal, updates from all of our teams. But just to kind of go over everything, if you haven't tuned in with us before, I'm Margaret Crone. I am our community marketing lead, and I'm with our one and only Stephen Sharif, our creative director. How you doing,
Guys,
Stephen?
Hello.
no one was telling me my screen was up.
A busy morning. Had some recording that we're going to show, just a little bit of recording a little later. But the week's been great. Last night I had a really fun time with some of our colleagues and friends playing a Star Wars little tabletop RPG campaign.
So did you actually
thing.
fight the Death Star? Because it seems like that's what was happening.
We did fight the Death Star, but
Oh my gosh.
unfortunately, Yavin 4 suffered an unfortunate fate, and I was the last one killed. Though, to be fair, I was in a B wing, but I was the last one destroyed.
But
so
if you don't survive, then it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. My pilot
Being
actually did
last to die
survive.
doesn't
The ship was destroyed, but my pilot made it, so it was okay.
Hmm. Okay, well, your pilot
Hmm.
survived?
Yeah, he survived. I got to roll
Nice.
on the because I was in a home system or whatever, so there were like other little rebel like people trying to evacuate, and they picked me up on the way out of the system.
Aw. Well, I'm sad that you didn't survive, but you know what?
Wow.
It's okay.
I want to see what that tabletop
But because you're
game is.
surviving this, and this is what really matters, your real
Yeah.
life. But yeah, we've been having a lot of fun doing a lot of even other gaming with our fellow coworkers, especially now that we're all in the office. We're doing like a Magic the Gathering tournament
I
internally.
know.
It's
Margaret's
so
been
Wow.
kicking
fun.
some butt.
I have not. I've lost.
Oh,
I've
really?
lost all my. You've lost all your rounds too.
I know we were playing some Magic
Here's
tournament
the thing
too, and
though, two of my matches, like I was so close. One of them I would have probably won actually if I wasn't an idiot and read my
well,
card
they were
right.
all cheating with you anyways. They were doing like free mulligans, and you didn't get any free mulligans, so you know.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
We'll we'll survive. It's been fun though. I've liked hanging out with people and playing games with everybody. And there are some other games that are on the horizon that we're making little guilds for that we're playing.
I actually like the fact that they play games in their company office. I think that's pretty cool. Like, I want a developer group that's gonna play the game that they make, you know? And if they're like not thinking it's fun and they're wanting to play something else, well, then I think they'll actually change it. I think that's what World of Warcraft started out as, is these like group of gamers that were like super nerdy, and then it turned all corporate, and it was just like it went from being gamers to developers, and obviously there's a fine balance there. You want people to actually do their work and not just play games all day, but I don't know. I like the fact that they're having fun at the office. It's like a fun job to
Some
have.
games are having updates and others are launching, but we like playing games just as much as we like making them. So let's talk about making
Work
them.
hard, play hard.
Exactly. Let's
There
talk
we
about
go.
making games
There
when
we
we're
go.
not what we're doing when we're not, hanging out and playing games. So we're going to go over some reminders. We have some studio updates. We have a design and engineering update, a lot of videos from them with some cool stuff. One of the things that I mentioned last stream, we'll let you guys guess what that might have been that I was talking about last stream, but we're actually going to show it here on the live stream. And then we have environment art and character art as well that we'll be doing. And then we have some Q&A. So you guys submitted some questions. We're going to answer probably roughly 10 of them, but if we have extra time, we may answer a few extra. But first and foremost, let's go over some reminders. First and foremost, guess who's going to be starring on a show? Stephen Sharif.
Wait, what?
Stephen is going to be joining
When's
the
that?
discussion round, the Ashes of Creation discussion round, over on twitch.tv/BC Giant, which you can go check out on September 26th, which is
Wow.
this Sunday at noon.
Yo,
Pacific.
Ruck, welcome
So
back to
definitely
the
go
stream,
check that
dude.
out. I think they have a
Steven is saying weird things
um,
again.
on the
Oh,
Reddit,
that's
you can
this
submit some
Sunday.
questions still. So if you want to submit questions, pop on over and put them over there. And
It's
maybe
been a
Stephen
while,
will answer
Ruck.
your
It's
question
been a while.
on the live stream.
Yeah,
Next,
that'll be fun.
yeah, and that's their 100th episode, so it's a little bit of a fun celebration as well. Next up, we've got some cool things from our community. We just wanted to do like an extra shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for putting that lovely letter together. We really appreciate it.
Oh, that was
It
awesome.
was so awesome, and the dev team
The
just
team loved
the
it.
team loved it.
Wow.
And
That's the good like heart and feely stuff that definitely is the biggest motivator for any developer to read from a community when you go through what is a lot of endless hours of work and putting together a milestone for the development, right? And you get to read the response from the community. And this was such, I mean, it was a very comprehensive it was very
and the
comprehensive.
little doodles and stuff are so
Yes, I
cute.
love those. Those are great.
Some of them were
But
creatures
Yeah,
from our
sorry, I
game
couldn't see
too.
the
I
social
loved
media
it.
for a while.
yeah, that was pretty cool.
No, Ruck, I swear you were in my last live stream too. I haven't live streamed in, I don't know, week and a half, so you didn't miss
It's very
anything.
cool. Big hearts from the dev team to every one of you guys for being such an awesome community and so supportive. And it really makes this process such an enjoyable and easy one to pour your heart into because you have such an awesome community behind you.
Yeah. I had happy tears. And of course, we have our reminder that our cosmetics are going to be swapping over. The Colosseum's favored will be swapping over on October 6th, 2021 at 11 a.m. Pacific. And you can check those out over on our shop as well
I don't
as
know.
on our news article that has some
I don't
lore
think so,
bits,
right?
which I'm sure all of our orc friends out there are interested in reading. So snag it while it's hot because the next set's coming in. And
I like
Like I like certain parts of this set. I'll be honest. Overall, I think I'll give this set 5 out of 10. Okay, like I really like how ornate stuff is. It's not really my style. I do like the green, but the fact that it's green and red kind of has Christmas thrown out at me. So yeah, I do like the mount, and the ship is pretty cool with the red sails. Slug, yeah, but the color scheme, I don't know if the color scheme and like Asian style doesn't
the
really
little
appeal to me.
snail.
yeah,
That thing's so cute. Look at its little legs.
people are obsessed now. You know what? I got a lot of hate for the snail with legs, but now you
What?
all like it. You all are into it.
Yeah, I like the little gimpy legs. They're cool.
And there's a reason they have legs, man. Guess what's in the water? If these snails are that big and they have long legs, guess what's in the water and why they evolved to have legs? That's the real question you should be asking yourself. Beyond that, we have, I guess, some more dev discussions to chat with you guys about. And so, with that, we asked you this month actually 2 questions.
No,
for
it was
dev
a
discussion.
snail
One
pet.
was, how much time do you
The mount was the weird was this thing. It's kind of like a hairless dog shark looking thing. But this was the mount. This is just like a little pet that walks on the ground around you.
I guess, race and class synergy looking good or something else entirely? And you all have sent some wonderful feedback for us. We've been compiling that as well as you can continue to send us feedback. We'll keep looking over at anything new that's added in additions. So please feel free to do.
I will say that there is some exciting stuff on the development front for the character creator. I sat through an hour and a half long dissertation from my engineering team, presented by Adam, Clayton, and Zach, on the endeavors and objectives for the character creator and the tech that's going to be created for it, and the tools for the character team. And it does look pretty good. I don't think I've seen this was a common comment from the engineering team was, I don't think we've ever seen this elaborate of a character creator in an MMO before. So I think it's
Whoa.
going to be something pretty cool.
That's
to show
pretty
to the community
cool.
when it's ready.
Yeah, and like we've said in
That
the
is
past, if
pretty
you're kind
awesome.
of new here and you don't know how that stuff is going to work, we are going to have the character creator be available before launch so people can kind of create their characters. Take your time. We understand that when it comes to like launching a product, you on launch day you want to be just as competitive as everyone else, so you don't want to spend the hour time creating your character. So we're going to give that to you a
Yeah.
little earlier in advance so you can save your character and be able to like quickly utilize that template as
Man,
you,
that's so cool.
make your character going forward when we launch.
See, I know my engineers, by the way, are listening, especially those that presented in that in the character creator meeting. So I've just set the bar high for you.
And then we still have some other ones. We had actually a bonus question for you all because the design team was having a discussion and they wanted this answer really quickly. So we kind of swapped it in and added it as a secondary quick one in here, which is, do you like to see larger variance in progression speed between different leveling activities? Examples, questing, grinding mobs, or do you prefer a more homogenized progression across different leveling activities? And how do you feel?
Well, what do you guys think? Would you rather that questing gives you the same amount of experience as grinding mobs, and crafting gives you the same leveling experience as grinding mobs? I don't know. I think if there's some way to promote group activities and giving that more XP than anything else, that would be great. But then there's the solo players out there. I don't know if I really know the answer. I kind of like there being different XP levels to certain things. I usually always pick the thing that gives me the most XP. But I could see the benefit of having it homogenous and letting people do whatever they wanted to do.
Feel about progression speed generally, and you guys have been submitting tons of feedback on that. We really appreciate it, and especially as that one was kind of like a quick toss in. We do have some more.
Personally, I think so. I like grinding mobs and doing that sort of thing. So I think questing and grinding mobs should be the highest ones, and I don't think crafting or the artisan skills should be at that level. I don't think they should be homogenous. I think questing and like grinding mobs, raiding, those type of things should be at a higher XP level.
Dev discussions coming up as per usual. We're still in development, so we still have a lot of things to ask you all. So this next one is actually going to be about character inspection. So keep this in mind for your October thinking cap, because we have a lot of things that we're working on for character.
Ooh. I think that was one that I had asked design to send off to community as like an emergency question to the community.
Yeah, so we basically moved the October one to November. We basically pushed everything down and moved this one to the October one for you to get it in quickly. But yes,
sweet.
Your feedback gets used, so please, please, please submit it. We want to make sure that we're on the same page. Like we've said in the past, a lot of the times when we get these reports from your feedback, most of the time it aligns with everything that we are pretty much on the same page about. But in other cases, sometimes you guys add a little bit of addition for us and we're like, oh, okay, we can see how we can integrate those things into our designs.
Absolutely. Definitely go and participate in those discussions, because the commentary you leave as a community is the sword and shield in certain design discussions for designers on either side of an argument. So it's nice to have player feedback and experiences being able to be leveraged in the design room when we discuss stuff.
All right. And of course, we have even more. As you know, this year we've added in a lot of guild gathering discussions because we are specifically focusing in on a lot of guild system stuff. Guilds are very important when it comes to MMORPGs. They're one of the reasons why people stay and, keep playing the game. We make long-lasting friendships, so definitely your feedback is important. This time we asked you, if you had a phone app that integrated with your guild, what sorts of things would you want from it or think would be useful? And you guys have provided a lot of great ideas, things that I think we're already, pretty much most of the stuff I saw on the list were things that we're already planning or thinking about doing. So keep submitting feedback. If you have other additional ideas, definitely toss those over our way. And in October, we'll be chatting with you all about management tools, which I think are something that when I play a lot of MMORPGs, they're in some games have good management tools, others don't, but I think there's a lot of room for improvement when it comes to management tools. I don't think there's a game out there that's kind of doing everything.
How are they going to be able to do all of this? They're like tackling so many different systems and they're wanting to really flesh out all, like, they're already tackling this giant node system, but now they're tackling not only having a guild system, but really fleshing out and giving all the management tools. They're making an app. Like, I don't know. It seems like they're just biting off a lot. I've never been part of a really big, serious, like, sweaty, hardcore guild, And so I don't really know what to expect from that and what sort of tools I would want being part of that. All I know is I want to have a guild. I want to, like, play the game with you guys as a community. So yeah. I don't know if I have an opinion about that right now. I think once I see this system and I'm using it, then I will be able to have more opinions.
People need. I see a lot of people using like third party or mods for that. All right.
Yeah, as a guild leader, like if I had an app that I could interface with, to communicate with as a former guild leader, to communicate with my guild, I'd want the like ability to activate their speakerphone remotely without their permission. Like they give that
No,
permission initially.
Steven,
No, I'm
stop
just saying.
it.
I'm just saying they give the permission when
What?
they join. I tell them this is a prerequisite for joining the guild, and then when they're not at a raid, I can just start screaming at them. Like I don't know, they're at dinner or something. I'm like, you need to get your butt back to the computer. We have a dragon to kill. You're supposed to be here an hour ago. Like that is, what I think most guild leaders want.
I mean, kind of, yes. Because when someone doesn't show up, you're like, and especially when they have an important role, like they're your main tank or one of your main healers, it is definitely stressful.
I'm sure that if that was a
Yeah.
feature allowed, like you gave permission to the app to do that, a lot of guilds would use something along those
Guilds would
lines.
want to.
Kershets.
I don't think everyone would be.
Kirchitech? I don't know how to say your name, man. Welcome to the stream. I don't know if this is your first time, but sit back, relax, grab some popcorn. Yes, Ruck did play Ark. Yeah, for sure.
Okay with them doing that.
Or just like forcibly activate the the video, the camera so that you can like see what they're doing. No, I'm just
I feel like they're being way too ambitious. Ambitious? I think they're being way too ambitious, and that scares me. Yeah, I feel the same way. I'll be honest. Like, I love all of their ambitions. I love what they're saying and what they're going for. Don't get me wrong. But I've just been let down too many times in the past, when it comes to games and people promising the world when it comes to what they're going to develop. So, yeah, I'm definitely hesitant. That's why some of these systems I've even been vocal about saying, this is stupid. They shouldn't spend their time on this. They should focus on the game. Like, for example, an app. I think that's a stupid idea. I kind of briefly sort of hinted at that before when I was like, hey, I haven't been part of these hardcore guilds. I don't know what it's like to want an app like that and need sort of system that's not already out there. But come on, you have like Discord and stuff. Like, I don't know. I think the app is stupid. I'd rather have them take the developers that are going to be making the app, put them in the game, and make something better in the game. I don't know. That's just me. Yeah, sorry for that, mate. I know the struggle. Yeah. I feel like Ark. So many of these games have like really good potential, and I think Ark's one of them. But yeah.
I'm
No.
just kidding. I'm just kidding on that one.
He's trolling.
Maybe a little bit. No, I don't know. We'll see.
Oh no. Oh my goodness. Well,
Are they making a new Discord? No, they were just talking about how they're gonna make an app for guilds where they can communicate with each other, like message each other, and like manage notifications and I don't know, plan events with this app with everyone. But I think that's sort of stupid. Like they were talking about how there's other third-party apps that guilds use, like Discord or I don't know the other ones, but I don't know. I don't want them to be making an app right now. I want them to be making Ashes of Creation the game. Once the game is out and people are loving it, then you can put resources into making an app to make it even better, But I don't think, oh man, I'm gonna play Ashes of Creation because they have this cool guild app. Like no one's thinking that. Ark can steal your life. Yeah, at least for the official PvP server players. I could see that for sure. Yeah, I agree to disagree with you. Yeah. It's stupid to make a new app like that. Focus on the main game, then you fix the problems when they surge. Don't try to guess the problems. Yeah. And like another example of this is how they're hiring people to run a content creator academy so that streamers know how to better their stream when playing Ashes of Creation. Like that is so stupid. Like they're calling it a content creator boot camp. That's the word they're using, a boot camp. So if you want to be like an official Ashes of Creation streamer, but you don't have enough like followers for them to like reach out to you, they'll enter you into this boot camp so that they could train you to be like a good streamer. Like I don't know. I think that's I think that's really stupid. I think they should stop thinking about content creators and training them. I mean, like, obviously involve us content creators, but don't worry about training us to be better content creators. You worry about your game, and we'll just get better if we're wanting more followers and stuff. I don't know. I may be a little bit heated about that last one because they're not reaching out to me, just giving me free stuff. But I'm like, for sure, like, I am for sure not going to join some Ashes of Creation boot camp to better my content. Anyway, we're moving on. We'll take some deep breaths.
That might
All right,
violate
do
some
you
rules.
fall along those lines of what Steven wants, or are you more interested in not having that? I personally like my privacy. I think that, you know, a calendar and notifications and pop-ups are enough for me. I don't need that much control. Maybe you are more the control freak than I am.
I like how somebody said, "You act like Daddy Bezos isn't doing this already."
That's true. I was like, they're already doing something with our phones.
Your content is good already, by the way?
Do not
Dude,
endorse or believe that.
that's quote of the day right there.
I mean, it's true that, like,
That
your
is
phone's
quote
pretty
of
much
the day.
everything.
Thanks,
All right.
man.
Let's
That's
move
awesome.
on to our next thing here, which is
So
content
cool.
creator stuff. We are still continuing to take applications. So if you're interested and you are a content creator, you know, the main thing for us here is consistency and quality of content.
See, this is what I'm talking about. This is so stupid. So I applied to the content creator program. This is why I got a sore butt. It's because I didn't make it in. But that's okay. I mean, I only have like 1,000 something subscribers, almost 1,300. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 1,300 right now. So I'm still a small guy, right, compared to these other big streamers out there. So I don't expect them to accept me. But what she just said, they accept people based off of their content and consistency. That's not true. Like, I've been making Ashes of Creation videos for the last year now, and I've been very consistent with making that content. But I'm a small fry. That's my problem. It's not like the quality or the consistency. It's the amount of followers I got.
So apply to the program. We are not accepting anyone into the program quite yet because we are still in our second round of interviews. I've been interviewing quite a few people, looking at a lot of resumes. Haven't quite found that perfect person for us. And like we said, you know, our main goal is to hire people that we really feel are perfect for our teams and, you know, are going to make a solid, you know, intrepid family member that we have here for long lasting times. And with that, once we do hire that person on, we will be bringing on our training program, sending out invites for folks. And then also, if you aren't invited to the program or the training program, you will get a message anyway that telling you why, so that you can work on, you know, doing things to improve it so that you can be able to reapply at a later date.
What?
But yes,
they didn't send
is
me a
that.
message.
The only other thing that I have for you all is web update stuff. If you've been keeping an eye on everything, we did have a small downtime during this month. It was specifically to fix some bugs. Those bugs have been resolved. It looks like everything is going smoothly. The primary one that people had concerns about were folks who were in Europe who were having trouble purchasing, but hopefully that has been resolved for you. We also are working on in the back end. I think I've talked a little bit about this last month, but because this is such a important back end thing, it's going to take us a little bit more time to do, which is some more SSO integration and work on that end, as well as 2FA and more security, like general security things that we're trying to work on in order to make, you know, it better for you all. And of course, we are still working on support designs. They're kind of wrapping up that stuff. They're working on the mobile version of the support page, and then we'll be moving forward with the production process of that. But that
Yeah,
is
they
what's
didn't
going
email me.
on for our reminders. Next up, let's hand it over to Steven to talk about our studio updates. I feel like I had a lot of reminders today. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was a lot of reminders. Holy smokes. And we'll see you next month. No, I'm just kidding. A studio update. Things are going very good at the studio. We have the last of our equipment and furniture, ancillary things being installed as of next week. I think it arrives on Monday and should be installed by Friday of everything. We have about I would say 80% of the team is in the studio at this stage. We've gotten some of the appliances in. We've had some great hires over the past few weeks since our last stream, including one that I guess got picked up by a couple of news outlets. One of the senior narrative designers for Intrepid is a gentleman by the name of Wynn McLaughlin. We're very happy to have him joining the studio.
Yeah, Gerchich. Wait, I don't know if I'm saying your name right, but isn't there like a movie character named Kerchech? What's the name of the dad gorilla on Tarzan? Is it like Kerchech? Kerchech? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I'm planning on playing New World and making videos for it, for sure. In fact, right before this stream, I actually had another stream where we were playing New World and then my computer crashed and I realized that, yeah, long story short, I can't play New World and stream at the same time. I have to buy a part for my computer. So that's why we're not playing it right now. So yeah, don't worry.
He was the former lead writer for Elder Scrolls Online, which I thought did a great job. I loved that game's narrative and stories. I thought that was one of their strongest points. But also he worked on SOTOR and Tabula Rasa and other great games. He has a very distinguished background within the industry and is a very talented individual. So we're happy to have him join the team. We also have some other great individuals who've joined over the last month as well. So some of these key positions are getting filled. We've had really a lot of, again, we kind of had this retrospective last month over Alpha 1. A lot of the different departments had opportunities to kind of speak and get into meetings and huddles about, things that we've learned and that we have, want to change from a practice standpoint, different development directions that we're taking. I've been very heavily a part of daily 4 or 5 hour long sessions with our design team every day of the week.
I'm sure it's been exhausting for everybody. Those meetings are intense. It's like going over everything. It's a lot of back and forth. It's and then it's sometimes a little bit of a battle of ideas.
Absolutely. I love personally. I like to, when I can, sit back and just listen to the battle occur. You know what I mean? Because I think there's a lot of valid ideas and changes that want to be implemented. But it's good to have that opportunity to kind of, after a big milestone like Alpha 1, to take the time, go through and actually evaluate what we learned, what we saw, the things we want to change, what came off from paper to practice, and how that transition actually, affected the systems and designs that we have. So from that perspective, everything's going pretty good right now. I think we're in a very nice place as a studio.
I also want to say that on the retrospective front, it was so nice. One of the producers messaged me and was like, dude, community team got a lot of love. And I think that I haven't worked at a lot of companies where people really appreciate the community team. So it's been really nice to have a team of people who really understand like what we do on our end, because, it's a lot that we try to keep up with on the communication front back and forth between the players and the developers in order for them just to focus on their work, so that we can get all the answers to you guys too. And if there's ever anything that you think we need to improve, you guys know how to find me. I'm Margaret Crone. Message me. I'll make some changes. So yeah, a lot of love. It's been awesome. Yeah.
Their community team has been really responsive. Even when I've messaged them on Discord, they've actually gotten back with me. So nothing bad to say about that.
All right, moving on to design. Ooh, we got a lot of cool stuff here. I think you wanted to show off a video of you kind of showing some mounts first. You want to do a little preface?
Yeah, I'll do just a quick introduction to the video. Obviously, it's a short video. We over the past several months showed lots of in-game footage of different systems and stuff that were just in Alpha 1. At this current moment in time, a lot of stuff is being torn down, and from the build's perspective and the development branch, a lot of things are getting reworked, redone, and that, of course, is going to introduce a significant amount of bugs because as particular systems and/or data changes, that has a cascading effect across many things that interact with that data. So this is just going to be just a brief kind of look at some of the new a new armor set that got implemented in the game, a couple of the mounts, and just quick 5 minutes of that. So nothing too crazy.
And we have more
yeah.
videos, so this isn't the only
Yes.
one. We have some more like
We
development
have many
oriented videos.
things.
Yes.
I mean,
Alright.
this is what we're here for, right? Is the video. So I'm excited to see this. I definitely agree that the artists are a big part of it. I really like their designs so far. There's a couple things where I'm like, okay, that doesn't look super cool, but I realize they're making it all these low-level items right now. And so I'm really excited to see what the best looking mounts are going to be, and the best armor and best weapons. So
Okay, well, we'll see you all in about
let's
5
watch
minutes.
this video.
Welcome, glorious Ashes of Creation community, to another live stream Friday. I welcome
What
you
is
back
this
to
armor
where
set?
It has been some time since this planet has seen adventures. It is still under construction.
He's so weird, man.
We're hard at work, changing many of the things. But I wanted to show you some new stuff that has been added recently, including this glorious set of armor. Many of you
It's
may
kind of
recognize
Egyptian.
it. This is the armor a magistrate might wear. But as you can see,
Whoa, sudden turn.
the lands are barren. There are no players present.
This looks cool.
I can't take you to some of the under construction zones, for they are not ready for mortal eyes yet. But I can show you.
Okay, the cloak is really cool. I really like the fabric animations. I'm just gonna go back a little
The
bit.
lands are barren. There are no players present.
The hat's a little silly, but everything else is looking really good.
Zones, for they are not ready for mortal eyes yet.
Yeah, I love the way the cloaks look. Cloaks are like one of my favorite things.
Some new mounts. Which one should I show first?
This is really cool.
Do you want something not living?
Yeah, I think the character model and the armor
It's
does look
technically both
really,
not living.
really
Which one
nice.
to show you? Both.
The hat,
Let's
don't really
just
like,
go
but
right
everything else is
with
looking really good. What the heck is
Flying
this?
Geode. So as you can tell, this guy's a little bit different.
Wait, what?
He is definitely a little twitchy, and he's got some dangling, what appears to be vines that are
what?
kind of sticking out of him. Why a geode would have vines, your guess is as good as mine. But this guy, you know what he reminds me of a little bit? When he flies, you'll guess what he reminds me of when he flies.
He flies? What am I looking at? It's a rock with roots, and he's biting on a purple crystal, a pink crystal, and he flies? Okay, I don't know about this one.
Oh, he's walking. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, we're in walk mode. This is
Yeah.
his, like, he's walking kind of thing. Look at how my guy's trying to, like, be stable on top. He's like, I don't know about this. All right, let's actually fly.
Wait, what?
Oof. Look at him move. I love his little tentacles.
This mount, okay, I'll just say it. This mount kind of sucks. It's so bad.
Yeah, this guy's pretty cool.
The teeth are weird. It's not detailed at all. It kind of seems like it's like a blocky mess. Like, I think the idea that the designer had, I don't know who made this design, but it's not working for me. I feel like I'm ragging a lot on Ashes of Creation right now. I'm excited for the game, don't get me wrong. I'm just trying to be critical. They're like, okay, you know what I want? I want like a clam. No. Not a clam. Well, it is a clam, but it's a rock clam. So it's more like a geode with a mouth. It's like a Pac-Man geode. But I want it to fly and walk And rocks don't have arms or legs, so you know what's next to rocks? Like roots and like plants and stuff. So what if it has like root legs, but then it flies kind of like a backward squid? Yeah, that sounds like a good mount. Like, I don't know, this mount is all over the place.
Obviously, there still needs to be some polish here, but as you can see, the little Geode dude is a fun one. He's different.
He flies? What the heck? Is he flying or is he like hovering? Like, can he go up anywhere?
Next up, we have.
Yeah. Kerchach. That's exactly what it should do. It should get rid of the root tentacles, and just have it be like a magic geode that flies and like hovers and stuff. It does not fit into the game. You look at the detail in this guy's armor, and he has these great animated cloaks, and the fabric moves really well. The lighting and the scenery. And then you have this geode.
This guy's pretty cool.
With these terrible polygons. Yeah, it doesn't fit into the game. Like, what am I watching?
Obviously, there still needs to be some polish here, but...
Alright. We're 2 years out from the game, but Adam, everything is going to be fixed in 2 years. It's going to look cool then. Alright, we'll see, but as of right now, it's got a lot of work it needs.
He's different than your normal mount.
Needs a lot of work. The freaking leopards in the background look better than...
Next up, we have...
Alright, let's see.
Non-living creature.
A rock with legs, yeah.
Prepare yourselves.
Just make it a magical rock. Okay.
Who knows which one this is?
Ooh, this is so cool.
This is the Ebon.
This one is so sick.
Oh wait.
It's an undead, like red glowing horse.
Ebon Omen Mount. Alright, wait.
It looks so cool.
Yeah, he still has some...
Look at the light. Wait. It was going through the shadows. It's like a transparent mount. The light behind it affects how it looks. Watch this.
Wait for it. Oh wait.
Look at this mount. Look at the red spots coming here.
Omen Mount.
And look, it fits into the world and with the character. Look how cool this is. Look, it's like dark, and then the light shines through the back of the horse and lights up the red inside. That is so cool.
Such as the glowy bits and pieces of his body.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
He is a little bit decomposing. He has an exposed like rib cage.
Right. It's not for me. I don't like skins at all. Okay, so you might not like... It might not be your style, right? Because it's like an undead horse that's got these like like, you can see it's like guts.
That doesn't look like... You know, he might want to get that checked out.
But look, seeing the light behind the horse and how it lights it up, that's really, really cool. Like, even if this isn't your style, you can see the level of how cool this mount is compared to the last rock tentacle mount we saw. This one is really cool.
At this point. But, no, this guy's pretty cool. I like him.
This one is so cool.
Oh, he looks great. But as you can see, in addition to, you know, what we're doing, working towards Alpha 2, a lot of new assets will be coming online that we're going to be showing.
Yeah.
As the character, environment, and animation teams, concept crew get run.
It's usually just a skin to a regular horse. Yeah. This, so I don't know what you're saying, because they're definitely using the same horse rig, right? Same horse model. But this isn't a skin that you put on the horse mount. This is its own mount. Like, this is a separate mount. So it's definitely a reskin of another mount, but it is its own section. I think they are going to have undead creatures walking around. Undead horses. So you have to tame the creatures. And I think they're going to have skins for mounts, but it's not going to change a regular horse into this horse. I think their skins are going to be more literal. Like you're going to change your regular horse to a horse with a cool saddle. You know, it's not going to change from like undead to living, or the change isn't going to be that big. But they are going to have lots of skins for sure. I thought it was something you threw on your horse to make it look like this. No, this is how the mount comes default. And they're going to have more skins on top of this. So maybe instead of a red undead horse, you have like a green undead horse. They use the same horse rig though, so it's like a reskin of a different mount, but it's not a skin put on a horse mount. Yeah.
Running through all of the master asset list that Vera has.
Yeah, so there's gonna be like a whole set of undead horses. It's not just a skin.
I know we've been talking a little bit about, what we're working towards with Alpha 2.
It's using the same skeleton
Very
as the
large
other
and
horses, though.
substantial pieces of the game that are intending to be finished by Alpha 2.
But
Still a lot of
this
testing
just
to
looks
do
so
on
much
that.
cooler. This mount is so much
Talking
better.
more on the stream about the tools that design's using, the optimizations that engineering are making, and all the awesome assets, of course, as always, that our art teams are making. But with every day that passes, Vera comes to life. All right. See you
Man.
next week.
I like want that mount. I know. Yeah, I don't know. That mount just looks really, really cool. I wonder what yeah, I don't know. Why would you have two quadrupled rigs? They would need to remake animations for no reason. Well, they can use the same rig for two animals, but in the game, it's not like you get the horse mount and then you put that skin on it. There's going to be separate mounts in the game for it. But these separate mounts can use the same rig system, for sure.
All right. I see everyone seems to really like the glimmering geode and some of the
Okay,
other
now
mounts.
what did the geode look? I'm not going to say it, but what was it looking like when it flew? It totally gave me, yeah.
It looked like a sperm. That's what it looked like. I don't like the geode. Okay, I don't know if I made that clear. The geode mount freaking sucks. I'm never going to want that mount. I'll collect it because I'll collect mounts, but I'm never going to ride it. I'll collect it, and I probably won't even ride it once I collect it.
Exactly. I was like, wait, this looks a little bit like that.
Okay.
She was like, everyone seems to love the geode. No. The geode sucks.
Cool though. I know. I like the geode. I think it's I think it's cool to have unique mounts that skirt what normalcy is for MMOs. I think
No, it would be okay. I have nothing wrong with a geode mount or even a geode with legs, but that mount just looked bad. It just didn't look cool.
And
It's
we have
always fun.
kind of a jellyfish mount too.
Do you think she's scared of saying it sucks? I think she was the one that designed it, and so she doesn't want it to suck. That's what I think.
So using that similar
Because she designs the
body
mount
type.
sometimes.
So if you guys got
And that seems
copy,
like a
you'll
mount
like that.
she might
We'll have
design.
more in-game ones that you can achieve too, but just a little teaser of some cool stuff that's coming along the lines. But beyond that, let's get into kind of what other things the design team is working on, and we have some videos to showcase in regards to some of that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So moving it a little bit in that direction, the design team, obviously, as I said previously, has been kind of taking into account a lot of the information we collected from Alpha 1, and we've been
Mm-hmm.
kind of going through the different design documentation that we have, and including some changes that we would like to see as a result of Alpha 1 and the insights that we gleaned from that. One of the things that we'll show, and we'll just kind of have it as a side, but before we get into it, want to explain, like, now as we're moving out of Alpha 1 and into Alpha 2, and we're taking into account the synergy between the nodes across the entire world, right? And having over 100 nodes intended for for Ashes of Creation at launch, we're starting to set up a little bit more definitions between those interactions, the types of alliances that can form, the types of trade routes that can be present,
Okay.
what sieges excuse me, what the effects of sieges will have when nodes get taken down, how these nodes will take over territory and adopt, the parent relationship and vassal relationship with other nearby nodes. And this is this is probably the most complex nature of how nodes exist with one another, is that expansion component, that vassal parent relationship, the
Right.
diplomacy. And a few of the designers have been working together to kind of, in the past we kind of put together like little mock board games and stuff like that to kind of play out scenarios. But we actually now have visual representation from a program perspective that we can actually simulate what these types of progression is going to look like in the world of Vera using the Veran map. And, I'm not going to say don't look into this video and think that you can glean the specific locations of these nodes, because they're not. This is not an accurate representation of the location of specific nodes.
Well, people are gonna hardcore
I know,
theory grind on this. They're gonna be going into every little detail.
This is like throwing a literal barrel of gasoline on any of the community that likes to theory craft
theory
behind
crafters,
placement and system and all that kind of stuff. But one of our designers, Bucky Collins, did a great job in kind of setting this up, and kind of we can show it now if we want to.
Yeah. This is
Bucky
what I was
Collins.
talking about last month, by the way.
Such a good name.
Was this video.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Was the
There we go.
simulation.
So here you can see, that this is now, you can augment the tick rate on this, right, to kind of show passage of time. And you can show the initial territories on the Veran map of what these particular zones of influence, as we like to call them, right?
Okay.
And as nodes, as the simulation of this begins to advance and nodes begin to expand their territory and they begin to take over nearby nodes as a result of their growth, you start to see these power level, these ratings that are applied here on specific nodes, and that determines what type of takeover power it has and what it pushes back against for other nodes that are looking to take over new territory as they advance. So this also simulates sieges. It also simulates events. So each of these nodes will have a health ticker. When that health ticker is impacted, it'll stop gaining power or...
Wow, this is complex. No wonder they say the node system is the most, like, the biggest thing that they're revolutionizing in the game. Kind of insane simulation, yeah. I totally agree. It's crazy to see the dominance that the biggest metropolis node has over an area, and how hard it must be to overthrow that metropolis.
Gaining or slow down in its gaining of experience.
And just how many nodes there are, too. There's so many nodes in this map. Like, it'd be cool to open the in-game map and see it evolve over time and see the sort of vassalship that nodes have over each other.
And that's because certain events can affect a node by disabling certain services, disabling buildings. If players don't respond to that horde of zombies that have, come out of the nearby ravine, then those zombies can attack stables. They can attack service buildings and prevent particular types of quests or activities and services from happening until it's repaired, right? So it simulates that. It simulates the sieges if a particular node has a certain frequency that's set where we want to see randomization of how nodes get affected by sieges.
Wait, how? Let me go back a little bit. So look at this purple node right here. The blue node's about to take it over.
We want to see randomization of
Now it's
how
all blue.
nodes get affected by sieges.
This one's
Sometimes
holding
they'll be
out
destroyed
purple.
in the simulation. Sometimes they'll be have disabled services, again similar to an event, because they didn't succeed necessarily at sieging the node, but they did succeed at disabling some of the buildings as part of that siege. So a lot of these, this representation does show 111 nodes as part of this particular simulation. I'm not sure what the tick frequency is on this video. It might be something on the magnitude of like every second is probably 12 to 24 hours. So over time, you start seeing these larger node systems building up to eventually where you might see, cities and metropolises after some period of time.
Okay.
And what this does, what this allows the design team to kind of
Whoa, what is going
from
on?
a tools perspective, as they simulate this idea of how the world is going to progress, is it gives an opportunity to kind of see strange happenings or something that we couldn't necessarily predict, but was a possible outcome based on the variables present, that players could potentially simulate it simulates what players could potentially do as well when the game goes live. And that might include things like splitting up a particular zone of influence across a waterway, right? Having your territory expand out to an island or across continents. These are the types of things that we want to see players do eventually, obviously, but this tool provides the design team the opportunity
This
to
zone
see
right
it
here
repetitively
was huge
and
until
over a
she
fast
killed
period
it.
of time, so they see these different types of outcomes.
The chat is excited, and
Wow.
they are concerned that we're sharing too much information publicly.
Oh, no. That's okay. Don't
Wow.
worry about that.
Yeah, we
It's,
got
This
it.
is really cool.
there's a whole side panel here that actually you can't see that I asked Margaret this morning to
Yeah, I was like, how am I going to hide
take
this?
off. Yeah, and the side panel has a lot of data points that are collected and the weighted values of these particular data points that nodes can exhibit through development, through player activity, through whatever. And again,
Like
these
this node
locations
right
aren't
here
the
is
locations
huge.
of the particular nodes, but they do show what that interaction, what that almost territory-like, politicking will be between nodes.
Yeah, the persistence and how it will evolve over time, which I'm very
Okay.
excited about. I've played, there's only a few games that have that kind of persistence over long periods of time.
Yeah.
But all of them have been really fun. So I'm excited to see it come to fruition, especially in an MMORPG where
Wow, you have to be like an expert politician to like understand the relationships of your server. Every server is going to be totally different. So yeah, that's crazy though. That is really crazy. What is the blue thing that overtook the green thing actually? So each one of these little squares on this map are a node. So like a town or a village, a metropolis, something like that. When a node grows really big, it takes over its surrounding nodes, as in it makes them vassals to it. And so these like surrounding villages serve the big city. So this is just the politics of how nodes take over each other. If there's like a raid, it totally wipes out the node system and then the land is all up for grab. Like it's kind of like a Risk. I don't know if you've ever played the Risk game, but that's what this reminds me of. Is like a node builds up power and it can expand until it gets to a point where it's like too big to cover everything, and then things come and take over parts of it. That's sort of what it reminds me of. How come it'd be spreading? That's cool. That's the cool thing with the freedom and multiplayers. Yeah, I think that's why this game is so revolutionary, is because the players are going to be able to dictate the outcomes of a server. Every single server is going to play completely differently. because the towns are gonna form relationships over each other, and towns are gonna be bigger or smaller in different servers. And it also locks out raids. So like some raids or dungeon content won't be playable until a certain town hits a certain level of power. So every server is going to have a completely different set of raids. Every server is going to have a completely different like PvP guild war experience. And I think that's what makes it so cool. Yep. So the colors represent the influence of a certain node. Yeah. So for example, this blue node, it has the big blue circle compared to the medium blue, the little green, the tiny yellow. Like this blue has all of these nodes in its vassalship. Like I don't know if it taxes all the nodes. I don't know how it will actually function in game, like what the big village gets from all the little villages. It'll probably be like some sort of tax system. So this is right here, but it doesn't have control over this like orange node. It's like just hunkered down in its little, and it's like defending against the blue. I don't know. It's kind of cool. And then there's this huge area. It makes me wonder, can a super dominant guild or something take over like a whole continent and make it all under one node vassalship? I don't know how that would work, but is that possible? And because you see some of these and they're getting pretty big. Tax money, respect. Yeah. I don't know. That's a really cool and interesting system.
Where, like, I don't know, especially
it's kind of like mind-blowing
in your own house and your own freehold. It's going to be exciting to see what play.
Yeah, so she just clicked on this one and selected it. Look how big its area of influence is. So if you buy something over here, you might be taxed at the rate that this place dictates.
Players do, and how each of the servers does different things too. Because your guys' actions on different like there's
so she's going through and clicking on different ones.
Maybe like a 0.01% chance that two servers could have the same situation, but very unlikely, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, as we've spoken about many times since the inception of Ashes and the node system, is the cool.
Oh my gosh, look how big this one got all of a sudden. It's ginormous. That's crazy.
Component of having different servers experience different things. The way that content is gated behind world development is also an interesting method by which this content gets trickled out to the player base based on their decisions, essentially, and how that affects the story overall, right? That's the big appeal to Ashes. That's what we are doing differently than a lot of MMOs that have come before us. And what that means is we have to create
I like how this one's named Iceland. That's pretty funny. Fords, the tropics, ice glacier, Asian. It's looking awfully like Australia, I don't know, Russia, Africa, Europe. It kind of has a similar vibe.
An abnormally larger amount of curated content so that those decisions from the player mean something, and just aren't, obfuscated behind the player-driven, quote unquote terminology.
That's what I was just mentioning.
You want to have
before.
complementary curated content that exists and makes the world feel reactionary to the players.
Which is definitely a hard thing to achieve. I think that I was even having a chat with some of the other designers about that, and like how quests are going to work and how those systems are going to be integrated into the node system. It's very intriguing, and a lot of discussion that design is
I just had a 3-hour meeting yesterday on quests, and what we took out of Alpha 1, and obviously the outstanding feature work that wasn't completed by Alpha 1, but doubling down on those designs, and providing that as the goal for Alpha 2 is to actually implement that more modular reactionary type questing systems that are less about go do A, B, and C and come back and chat with me, and more about how like when you're on that path and the world is actively developing, how that changes what your objectives are, what your destination is, what the,
Or you like see
adversaries.
something and you're like, oh, I interacted with this
Yes.
crate, and now like, oh, I have the option to either take this to who it belongs to because it does have a label on it, or I can just take it for myself. But if someone catches me trying to sell it or something, maybe there's reactions, right? Like those kind of
Oh,
makes you actually feel like
Margaret's
the
a little
world is,
thief.
yeah,
You're
oh
going to be
my
part of
God.
the Thieves Guild, huh?
Yeah, potentially,
I'm just kidding.
everyone has their own path that
What
they
is
might
happening
take.
to the
But
map?
I
It's
think that's
having a
very
disco
exciting. And
party.
obviously, this is the thing that I was talking about last month that I thought was really cool. And he's made some adjustments to it too, which I think is just really, it's great to see, and probably helps design a lot in regards to what
Oh
they're
yeah,
She
working
made
on.
it speed up.
Yeah, I mean the design team has been doing a great job, and honestly, like one of the things I love about working with designers as opposed to engineers or artists is that like they're constantly thinking
A million
all the
pieces
alternate
ahead.
ways, exactly, all the alternate ways at which these intents diverge, and what directions they could potentially go, and how you want to engage
Hmm.
with the player, not just on the fundamental idea of immersion, but from a mechanical standpoint, what are the ways players are going to game the system because we're players ourselves, and how can we account for those potential gamings of the systems.
Stephen will
Um,
game the system.
Yeah.
well, I mean, I think that's a very important aspect whenever you're discussing system design is, if you have that experience and you're a gamer and your mind works that way, that's good because you already have a leg up on your community in the sense that you can predict certain things. Now, obviously, you can't
Not
predict
everything,
everything.
man.
And
They
no,
will
no,
be
I know.
playing a lot more
Obviously,
hours.
obviously you cannot predict everything, but if you can go through and identify a lot of this stuff as part of your design work, that's a super important thing.
And as
So
you all
yeah.
know, nodes are kind of the core heart of everything. Like almost every system touches it. So it's very important for us to solidify everything, make sure that,
Hmm.
everything's kind of going in the direction that they want. A lot of the stuff that you have probably experienced during alpha was data collection and seeing how that process works and how they integrate with our quests coming online, new nodes unlocking, that kind of stuff. So um, now it's going to be the next level, the next the
Yeah.
next edition of that, and potentially, seeing metropolises. Yeah,
Metropolises.
I think it's
Metropole.
metropolises. All right. Beyond that, is there
That's
anything
really
else that the
cool.
design team's working on that you want to discuss, or do we kind of want to talk about what they can expect to see in the next few months versus like the long term?
Yeah, I would say, right now the design team again is doubling down kind of on these discussions and adjustments we want to make. The pitch.
Yeah, before they go into the design stuff, I just want to say this node system looks really promising, and it's actually one of the main reasons I'm drawn to the game. This ever-changing world where it's completely different than other people's experiences. That's really fun. That's a fun idea for me as a content creator, is that I can make content that other content creators might not even have access to. So, I don't know, that's a really appealing thing to me, and I think it would make it really fun for other players as well. Overall, this is a really cool example.
Pitch phases are kind of underway.
Beyond that, is there anything else that the design team's working on that you want to discuss, or do we kind of want to talk about what they can expect to see in the next few months versus like the long term?
Yeah, I would say, right now the design team again is doubling down kind of on these discussions and adjustments we want to make. The pitch phases are kind of underway, in how we're going to be changing some of the systems. But also there's going to be some significant prototyping phases coming up as well, especially on the combat front. I think we've got a great direction from Alpha 1 with that implementation of split body. We're going to be taking a look at some additional universal skills that could potentially be applied, such as universal block and dodge and potentially parry and stuff that kind of lend itself a little bit more towards the action side, or at least towards the skill side of having these options, and then being able to potentially be universal progressions as well, where players can enhance those universal abilities if they wish to allocate skill points into that. So this is something that obviously we're taking a look at. We're going to be working on and prototyping, and it's going to be pitched as part of the combat discussions. But you can probably expect to see a lot of conversation related discussion topics from community on certain things, with perhaps even some demonstrations of the prototyping so that you guys get context for what you're talking about. That might be pretty cool to see, and that'll probably come online over the next couple months.
Yeah. And, anything that we can go more in depth with, we will put, video and articles out with. But a lot of the stuff that you're going to see is, maybe little short snippets here and there on social or here on our live stream. We always try to make sure our live stream, make sure our live stream has kind of like everything encompassed. So if you missed anything, you kind of have everything that we've done in one little bit for you.
Yeah.
Cool.
And keep in mind one other thing, like as you guys are looking at this map, the world of Vera is very large. It is a pretty big MMO world from at least comparative standards to other MMOs. So these types of territories, these types of parent vassal structures that exist within the world, they're going to have large swaths, large regions by which they have influence over. And I think that's gonna equate to a pretty fun experience between 8 to 10,000 players who all coexist on this map, and the decisions they're going to make and how they want to form the world and change that structure, whether through force or through diplomacy. And I think this just does a really great job of demonstrating how diverse that ecosphere of politics will end up being when the game is live.
I'm excited. I love like the guild culture in an MMO, because you get like, there's smaller guilds, there's bigger guilds, there's guilds that collaborate, there's guilds that have like turmoil between them, and you get to just see that all come to fruition on like a massive scale, which is really fun. There's been some products that I've worked on that have persistent worlds, and it's always crazy to like see how it pans out. And when you log in the morning, kind of like seeing how the map looks from a development side is really fun. And also watching the heat maps and how people like interact with the world, and where they're kind of tending to go to the most versus not, and it changes just from server to server. So it's intriguing. I'm excited to see it all come to fruition. Maybe we'll have to do like news reporters from each server who come together on a community live stream.
We did that in
like
another. We did that. Yeah,
that'd be pretty cool.
My guild did that in another game we played. It was fun. We had like a little house set up, and we had like green boxes and green screen behind the characters, and the characters would kind of do like little news reports. Yeah. It was fun. It was cool.
We'll have to pop into each of the different servers and see how it's going.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I'm really excited. That's the stuff for me. Someone else in chat asked earlier before the stream started, like from our community management perspective. Obviously, I'm not the community manager, but I aid with that stuff, and I get to hear Sarah and Wagner's perspectives on things. That is the funnest part for us. It's like more fun for us to be able to like interact with you guys and engage and see all the cool things that come out of that and all the cool content you guys create. So that is very much a lot of the fun for us is figuring out ways we can integrate.
I will give you
stuff you guys are
I'm going to
doing.
give you, by the way, a little snippet of Ash's development lore.
All right.
This particular map, it's a little bit different, the map itself,
yeah,
than the original map I had from a campaign, with Pathfinder, 10 or 11 years ago or whatever it was.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that one. Is the one that you have in your house? Okay,
yes. So that one I have like the seas are made of resin and like this topographical like cool
and you can
mountains
put, like, the
and
flags
stuff.
On the thing. That's so
yes.
Cool.
So I used to have. So you see here it has like a grid square like A through W and 1 through 33. So those correlate to specific squares that exist on the map. So what that comes from is originally on my physical board that I ran the campaign on, players would have the opportunity to do things on off weeks, right? Like you would have your normal session. In the session, it would be hour to hour, day to day gameplay. But then during the off week, they would have like, city development, building up their nodes, their leadership feats, and like all their followers and what businesses they have and stuff like that. And they would have movement of followers or armies or citizens, and I would have a sheet that they would have to fill out to submit their movements for a particular week and what they were doing. And so they'd have to
Okay.
correlate the grid, like, I'm moving army in section F8 to section G11, right?
Like
And it's
risk
going to
vibes.
yeah,
Interesting.
exactly. And so like everyone's movements would have to come in simultaneously. They wouldn't know what other people were doing per se. And you could have empires fighting each other. So I would have the board out and we would put down flags and like nodes, like where people were building stuff up and where their army banners were moving in the board as well, as essentially an empire like, control game.
Oh my
And
gosh.
somehow, and I don't know how this happened, but that the grid structure A through W and 1 through 33 got taken over into the video game development. And I'm like, why do we have these things there? It's like, I don't know. It was on a
It's
picture
handy
I saw
though.
of your.
It's nice. It's nice to be able to like be like this section. And I'm sorry if you hear
Yeah.
gardening stuff in the background. My gardener comes like every other Friday, and sometimes it falls on the live stream Friday. But yeah, I think it's super handy
Yeah.
to be able to like point out
No,
the
for sure.
locations. I like
Yeah,
it.
it was. It was good times.
that
Wow.
that is cool though. But I also think it will be handy for people just to have that kind of specific, longitude, latitude almost vibe going.
Yeah.
All right. I do have a question that I know everyone's going to keep asking. Maybe I should have brought it up during the studio update, but folks are going to keep asking this in regards to community side. If you have figured out who you're going to be pulling on for lead game design, as I know that is definitely a community.
I
of
have
many questions that I ask that on a daily basis.
For sure, that's a good question. Right now, of course, I've assumed a lot of the responsibilities from a lead designer perspective in the interim. I've chatted with a lot of candidates, and it's important from my perspective that you hire slow and meaningful and intentful. And Ashes of Creation is a very special baby. And I want to make sure it has the best caretaker possible in that regard and for that position. So, when that happens, I'm not going to rush anything, so to speak. But when that happens, of course, we're going to inform the community and introduce the individual. But it may take some time because I'm pretty particular on who we who we want to fill that
It
role.
took you like 2 years to hire me.
Yeah, exactly. See, it's a good thing I waited because we got such an amazing person.
Aw,
Aww.
too nice.
Okay.
That was gonna make me blush. But yeah, I think that it's important. It's the same reason why on the content creator side, like I just haven't like that is going to be such an important person because they're going to be interacting with like a whole bunch of people in our community that are sub communities of our community. So I agree with Stephen on that front. It's finding the right people, and from our perspective, when it comes to hiring, we're trying to never have layoffs or anything like that. Like we're really trying to like build
Oh yeah, we don't.
that type of culture. And to do that, you have to do it smartly and pick the right people and not grow too quickly because that's when you're spending too much money and it doesn't make sense. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think to wrap up the design segment, we've got a death animation video to showcase. Do you want to
Ooh.
Oh
preface
yeah,
this a little bit?
this is just a quick update. Remember back in the day when we were talking to you about how like death effects, you have this cool effect that is typically like a level up or a resurrection, but the death is always just a character falling to the ground. And
Hmm.
I've always felt like in MMOs that's very lackluster. Like if I'm dying, that should be a cause for either celebration or just complete
What?
dread and terror. And just kidding. but so we talked a little bit about potentially having an ashes oriented effect that occurs on death, and
A
of course
Thanos
the reason
snap?
for that is the lore behind you know
Ashes
how
of
death and
creation.
resurrection, right? How death and resurrection exists within Ashes of Creation, is the concept of this avatar of the phoenix, being representative of the goddess of creation, from which all life on this plane has come from, essentially.
Yeah.
There's a big hint there on something else.
I know. I thought that this played well to that effect because when you do get reborn, it is that connection with your soul to the essence that binds you with the goddess of creation, that brings that spark of that avatar of the phoenix back and brings you, to life through that manipulation of the essence. So this is a little update on the ashes effect. Now, to keep in mind, obviously, there's necessary indicators for death, right? Yeah, you can play it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Let's see
there's
this.
necessary. There you go. There's necessary information that must be conveyed, of course, to nearby players. One is the location of the body if you want to select them and attempt a resurrection.
Hey.
Two is does that interactable have equipment or gatherables or something that you can interact with a inventory and grab items from. Now this is for players. And not for mobs.
Wow.
Of course. But
It, like,
those
Thanos
can be
snaps
conveyed
them.
through, lit embers that exist within the ash pile. You should still be able to select the ash pile to potentially resurrect. When you select it, you're still going to get the character name above on a targeting nameplate. This is a type of stuff that we want to make sure we still convey, even though we're implementing this type of effect. But I think, when you think about combat, especially mass combat, and you're fighting left and right, and people are just bursting into flames as they're dying, I think that's just going to be such a much more epic event with those types of effects going off left and right than just watching bodies fall to the ground.
All right.
I think the animation idea is really cool. And I think
bursting into flames as they're dying.
I just want to watch it one more time. Yeah, and I think it's actually pretty cool. It's a great idea. Like, can you imagine in the big PvP sieges, like people just falling down and you see these like ashes and little piles of fire all around you? Like, that's really cool. I would love to see this like one step further where you actually see the armor of the character still there. Like the body turned into ashes, but the armor, there's like an armor pile. I think that'd be pretty cool. Or like weapons on the ground or something. But I really like this idea. He was saying that it's still being worked on because you still need like an object or something to look for if you're trying to resurrect someone. But I like this idea a lot more than just having a player's body just laying there like other MMOs do it. Feels like they just learned how to make a character do that and wanted to implement it into the game. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yes, now that's an idea. You should sell it to Steven. If the body goes away and the armor and weapons stay, that's nice. Yeah. I think that'd be a really cool idea. He mentioned it, that maybe that's what happens is there's a little armor pile or some like embers that have like a sword sticking out of it or something. But this is a really cool animation. I think it would make a really good addition to the game. I can't help but think of it being Thanos.
Much more epic event with those types of effects going off left and right than just watching bodies fall to the ground.
We have some cool stuff from our engineering team, which, we don't always get to show what engineering's working on. Often we just get to talk about it because, security
that's really
reasons
cool.
and things of that sort. Or because it's, code and it's hard to visualize that until it's created into a system that design or art has had their hands on. So talk a little bit about what we're about to see here, and then I'll play it while you're talking about it. Does that sound right?
Sure. What am I looking? What are we talking about again?
We'll start with the unmerged version. Of
I see. Okay, so this is from engineering's perspective. We've talked about wanting to show you something, and we can't really show you code. But what we can show you is the effects of optimization. And we have one particular engineer who's been working on kind of the rendering side of how we can show a lot of people on screen, a gentleman by the name of Clayton Stamper. And to give context here, at least from a terminology standpoint, when we're talking about materials are essentially these data objects that are comprised of textures, parameters that inform the shader, how a mesh is intending to be rendered on the client side.
Right.
And draw calls are essentially a CPU telling the GPU what to draw. It's a process of feeding all the textures and parameters to the GPU so that it can start churning out triangles. And GPUs calculate stuff very fast. So every time the CPU has to actually integrate it with something else to draw, the GPU has to move all of its data around, known as context switching. What was that? Oh,
She meowed.
oh, little kitty. That helps the technical jargon, actually. I like that.
She was like, "What's happening? I need to hear. I need to listen."
So this context switching can take time away from actually doing the rendering. So we can show here what Clayton's been working on, which is essentially taking materials which were previously like chest, shirt, bracer, gloves, shoulder, legs, boots, helmet, face, body, taking
So
those
many
different materials.
bodies.
And I know, so this is 1,000 players being rendered on screen. Now, obviously, they're not animating, they're not doing special effects, they're not casting abilities, but from just a render perspective of these meshes, of these materials that are demonstrated, all those different pieces, they're all drawing separately. And being able to use a single material with the exception of like different organic components that get LOD'd out quickly, the GPU only expects one call per player instead of one call per piece of equipment on the player. So here in this video, and this is the first one, right? This is unmerged.
Yeah.
So here
put them in the order you told me to.
Here Clayton's demonstrating, the unmerged 1,000 rendering. And this, you can't see it here, but you could see it normally on the right side. The FPS for 1,000 players, and again, the reason why this optimization is important is because we intend to have, our goal right now is 250 versus 250, but we want to be able to have, or at least target 1,000 players for a particular battle, right? We've mentioned that in the past. We want to try to get up to 500 versus 500. So these optimization efforts are to that end. And here you see that the FPS in the top right corner is like 7 or 8 on average. So not too good from a rendering perspective.
It's terrible.
So we can show the next video.
Okay, I will change it.
So by merging, now you can see that the same 1,000 players who are wearing the same armors as previously are actually having a 300% increase, 300 to 400% increase in the performance of the FPS. So it went from 7 to about 21 on average. And that is a significant optimization point that obviously, this is just the beginning of the optimization efforts, right? Alpha 1 wasn't about rendering optimization. It was about more the networking layer. It was about, the technical components of our core systems and standing those up. But now that we're moving into optimization, being able to render large amounts of, not even just players, actually, this is also applicable to monsters and creatures as well, because we have events that will have hundreds, if not thousands of different creatures that are sieging, or not sieging, but attacking a node.
That's so cool.
So a lot of this is, is initial efforts within these efforts towards optimizing the render client.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of engineering.
Optimization is so important. I think that's the number one downfall of New World right now, is just how poorly it's optimized. I mean, I can play every other game and stream it live to you guys, but for some reason New World keeps crashing when I play it. So having that optimization that they're already thinking about and they haven't even built the game, it's just super important. I'm glad I love seeing this. I'm glad to see this. Is he saying that their developers have been changing the Unreal Engine source render? I don't know what that means. I think the developers are definitely changing a lot of the code and doing custom things to the Unreal Engine. They did mention in the past that they want to be able to always use the base code of Unreal Engine so that when they come out with an update, they can always update to the newest Unreal Engine, and that they can always take advantage of the latest graphics and making everything look really good. I don't think Steven knows what he's talking about. His team merged the materials into one and mapped the textures probably to a higher distance. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know if I know what exactly they're talking about either. I think the idea is wherever there's the same set of armor or same helmets and stuff like that, it uses one map for the character instead of one for every individual piece. LOD stands for level of detail. New World is running fine on my machine. Maybe you got bad luck. Maybe I did. Yeah. I think New World runs fine on its own, but it uses like 12 gigs of memory just to run the game. Like, it's not very optimized. And when I was, because I can play it on my own just fine without live streaming. But the FPS and like the towns and stuff is terrible. Whenever you're around lots of other people, the FPS goes way down. Even with like the lowest settings. I have a 3080 graphics card, so it's not like it can't handle it. It's just the optimization of the game. I don't know. I don't agree with what Steven said in this section. He's trying to overcomplicate a simple thing that every game has to make their team do something new. It just did something very basic. Yeah, well, I don't really know what they're talking about, so I don't really know how to comment on that. Other than I like the idea of them making sure things are optimized. Yeah, I think that'd be really good. 16 gigabytes of RAM? Yes, I have 16 gigabytes of RAM. Yeah, this is really cool to look at. I hope they continue optimizing things. I hope it's just crazy optimized. I want to take full advantage of being able to see everything with the best detail. So yeah, good on them. My CPU is I can't remember. I can't remember what my CPU
I'm
is.
sure they appreciate us.
It's a good CPU though. Like, it has lots of cores. I do a lot of video editing. I do a lot of 3D rendering and streaming. It's a really good one. It's definitely not the CPU that's the bottleneck. Like, right now while I'm streaming and playing this video, I'm only using 5% of my CPU. So, my CPU is definitely not the bottleneck. And when I was playing the game, I think my CPU jumped up to 10%. So yeah. I don't get how you can't run New World. Is probably the RAM. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. But the fact that New World uses 12 gigs of RAM is kind of crazy. Like, I don't think any other MMO like uses more than, I don't know, for sure not more than that. But I think other MMOs use like around 8. It's like almost double what New World's using. So yeah.
Covering their stuff. So I know often they're like, McPee's like, I can just show you some code really quick. But I know that a lot of them are working on tech debt stuff at the moment as well. So a lot of things from our Alpha 1 that they're fixing up, bug fixes, and working on some new systems like the character creator and quite a few other things like they will be touching as we move forward.
The fact that you can see 1,000 players here, I know they're not moving, they're not casting abilities, but it's 20 to 30 FPS is already better than New World is right now. So that's crazy. Yeah, like Kurchat, you should turn on the FPS for New World and run into a city and just see how it tanks because of the other players around you. It's kind of crazy. And the thing with New World is they don't let you render out very far. You can't see into the distance like Ashes of Creation will be able to do. So yeah, you should go check that out though.
Yeah, and you guys make sure as the live video comes out on YouTube for this stream.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Sorry. Make sure you comment on whether or not you like seeing this type of stuff. I know a lot of times art and design get a lot of the glory from just a in-your-face kind of perspective, but engineering is the magic that makes the miracle kind of work, right?
It's like a glue to everything.
It's yeah, right. So if you do like kind of seeing this stuff and hearing about this stuff, make sure to comment that you did enjoy it and you want to see more of it.
Oh, they definitely do. I think we did a couple social posts where we asked people what they want to see, and they definitely said they want to see more tech behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
I know that one of the questions.
I mean,
that
I'm a
comes
web
up, and
developer, so
figured
I
we
love
might as
seeing
well
the
bring it up
tech side of
now,
things.
due to the conversation that we're having at the moment is UE5 and what our plans are in regards to that. And I know that we do have a team that's kind of investigating.
Yeah, I hope it
and
all works out
evaluating
too, man.
tech as we see tech come online. I don't know if you want to go into more details in regards to that.
I wasn't planning on talking about that,
That's
but
okay. We can talk about it. I think I covered most of it anyway. We're always looking
yeah.
at that stuff. Right?
As I've said in the past, it is our responsibility, of course, to ensure the project's viability from a technology standpoint, post launch, not just at this current stage, but planning ahead of time for the types of capabilities, expansions that are going to be present, the underlying foundation of the development, and an engine, of course, is the probably biggest piece of that pie. Unreal 5 has some great capabilities. It has a lot of amazing tech that Epic and Unreal Engine have developed for that particular next iteration of the Unreal Engine. It is, of course, our responsibility. A few weeks ago, actually, no, I'm sorry, a few months ago, I did ask a few of our team members to begin evaluating Unreal Engine 5. A few weeks ago, we formed a official strike team, that we call it, a strike team
Steven
to
likes to call
evaluate.
things strike teams.
I do like to call things strike teams. What else do I
Quorums
call strike
and strike teams.
Oh
I
yeah,
feel like
quorums,
are
small councils, strike
councils,
teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He comes up with the
I
new names for
know.
them.
I'm sorry, but anyways, this specific strike team is intending to have representatives from every department on the development team to go through tech for Unreal Engine 5, and of course, as we evaluate it and we make a determination on moving forward, we'll keep the community apprised of those decisions, and explain things as we go forward.
It's a common high question that we get. We get a lot of people who ask
For
that.
sure.
So I know you weren't maybe ready. All right, I'm going to move into some...
I also
art.
used Task Force. I'm sorry, someone just reminded me. I also used when I used to be a guild leader. I designated groups of people as strike teams or task force a lot. So, and then we also had an engineering core that were the crafters and the farmers and stuff. But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's all good. We're going to move into art, and we'll try to go through these pretty quickly because we do want to wrap up and also do some Q&A. And I know Steven is a busy guy. He probably has a lot on his plate.
Oh, no.
I know. So moving over to environment, we're going to kick it off with some... I'll talk a little bit about what they're working on and show you guys some props that they're working on. Obviously, continued work on props and updates and replacing some of those previous items with some new ones. These ones in particular are the Kalar ones, and we'll also be showing off some Dunir and Empyrean ones. These are desks, and chair, and stools.
These look pretty cool.
So you can see the different vibes of them. They're working on legacy asset cleanup, some node R&D, which is like research and development in regards to landscapes.
Obviously, that's what R&D
means.
means.
All the way through metropolises, systems overhauls and evaluations from post Alpha 1 feedback and things of that nature. They're also working on world landscape development and the pipeline reevaluation in regards to that, and tools and feature overhaul post Alpha 1. So kind of like talking about what they're going to be.
Okay. These 3D models aren't that bad. They're actually pretty good.
And also landscape edit layer tech, which I know another kind of more nerdy tech thing, but they're working on that. And some of that is for non-destructive workflow. And then the other side of it is that they're going to be doing systems documentation for animated buildings, construction, damage, and a lot of the siege features that we want to put in post Alpha 1. So yeah, just a lot of cool stuff. Moving on to Dunir, so you can see some cool Dunir props that they're working on.
The detail's so great.
Yeah.
Love the detail.
Amazing stuff. when we start having housing and being able to place things in your house, I think it's going to be so fun. I mean, we have housing. We had an Alpha one as well. It just
the weapon
wasn't
rack
as,
looks pretty
you know,
cool.
you couldn't like place all the things that you wanted to and upgrade items and craft items for it yet. And the fireplace, we have some paintings.
I hope they let you
some
be really
pots,
creative
the
with the
weapon
house
rack for the Dunir.
house
And then
building.
for the Empyrean, we've got
Hey, look at that dwarf face. The painting.
Yeah. I know you guys are excited by dwarves. I'll talk a little bit about that in character art side. But we will be showing more dwarf stuff probably next month. I think we had said like
these signs
2
are
months
cool.
from the time of last stream, we would have more dwarven things. But we are working on some dwarf revamping as per a lot of feedback from the community. So thank you so much for all your feedback in regards to the way they look. In fact, we had some internal discussions regarding how they looked. So I think that, you know, it was an easy decision for us to make that change. And so here you're going to see some paintings, some supplies, some lighting fixtures, and some signs that you'll see on buildings.
It'd be cool if you could customize the
And this is kind of like a post
text or the symbols on the
that can be
signs.
utilized in towns.
Yeah.
Very beautiful.
I saw somebody said they wanted to see some orcs.
I don't have any orcs for this one yet, but we are
I
working
wanna
on
see
some
orcs
that
too.
one image. Remember that one image?
We could share that one image if you want. I can grab it. It's up to
I mean, we
you.
can't.
What do you think of the dwarfs, Adam? We haven't seen. So I wasn't a huge fan of the past dwarves, but we haven't seen the new ones yet. Because they're reworking the dwarves. They're gonna make them like stockier. But I love that the dwarf women can have beards. True to lore.
Okay.
That's pretty
we can
cool.
Preface, yeah, while you grab it, let me preface it. So obviously, you know, we're now going around and taking a look at the different races that didn't quite make it into Alpha 1. One of those particular races, as we're modeling the base body for the Renkai. Obviously, getting your feedback on this, I think, would be a cool touch point with the community as we're working on this actively. And we could probably, you know, even after the stream, if you want to, we could even throw up a little, you know, dev discussion preview of the bodies and see people's kind of reactions to the Renkai and their representation and
We'll
stuff.
do some social posts too, for sure.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah. You have the image now. I sent it to you. I sent it the other day, right? Yeah.
I'm going to put it in the character art section.
Nice.
When we go to the
Okay,
character
cool.
art stuff.
Very cool. Very cool.
We'll kick it off with that.
So just keep in mind that the Renkai, of course, you know, for those of you guys who don't remember, the Renkai are more
women with facial hair is all I asked for.
Stature kind of orc, right?
Yeah.
And one of the discussion points that we had is like the ability to have variant skin tones among the orc race, because traditionally, right, orcs have just kind of been demonstrated as either red or green, right? And you don't really have much agency from a character creator standpoint on if you would want to be one or the other.
Hey, this orc picture's looking pretty cool. Got a Shrek vibe.
So here you can see the Renkai base character model, and its size, its stature,
It's a beefy
this is
boy.
a middle of the road type of physique, right? Because the idea from a character creator standpoint is that you're going to be able to augment different components of his body. You're going to have scales that can, not scales, you're going to have scalers that can deform or create
I was like,
a
orcs
less
with scales,
muscular physique if you want it, a little bit more out of the shape. But this is the green one. Do we have the other one as well?
I have the red one.
Oh, perfect. So like here's the variant color, and being able to kind of choose in between the red and or the green, having the ability to kind of slide. Did I say scalers? Sliders. Thank you, Diggs.
sliders.
Appreciate that.
Scalers.
Scalers. Sorry.
We
Is it
all know
early?
where you were going with it.
Yeah, thank you.
Scalar sliders. You all know. We've all seen character creators before.
Yes, but these guys stand considerably taller than their human counterparts, the Renkai do. And as this,
I think the reason he looks small to you, Kerchech, is because he's so wide. He's a very wide, thick guy. I mean, look how thick his arms are. Holy cow. You know, so if the human head only comes up to like here, then yeah, he looks like a freaking giant. but I need to see him next to
Gets
something.
online for Alpha 2, and you guys can see, as we'll compare them head to head with other races, the Renkai are the tallest species, the tallest race in Ashes of Creation.
The
All
tallest
right, I'm
race.
just gonna back
Okay.
up to environment for one moment. We kind of skipped ahead a little.
Should we show one other thing? Maybe just one more thing?
Is it the dwarf stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Can we
huge
go?
feedback. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry, we
yeah.
can go back to environment. Let's do
Yeah,
that. At
just because we
character.
didn't wrap up environment, so that they're in the
I'm
segment, because we kind of
I'm
like
just
are
like
switching
jumping around. Margaret right now is just like, Steven, what are you
It's
doing?
because I have to do like the timestamps for everything,
I
so
know.
it's like if we jump around.
I hope the orcs are actually. I hope the orcs actually turn out pretty good because they're the one of the few races I'm really interested in. The Renkai seem like they'd be really cool. And if he's the tallest out of all the races and he's that thick and beefy, that might be kind of cool to have him as the leader pirate of a guild. I don't know. We'll have to see. When the character creator comes out, we'll just go nuts and test a whole bunch of different stuff. Yeah, the old concept had orcs about 3 heads taller than the humans. Yeah, I wonder if they're going to be just as tall.
Sorry.
I don't
It's
know.
okay. So we do have one other thing from art, which is, and I know you're going to be excited about this one too, Stephen. And while we're talking about this, I'll go grab the dwarf stuff. We have concept art for the volcano area, and also the transition from the volcano area to
Nice.
the other like foresty realm.
Very
That's
cool.
really cool.
And then also, I know you wanted to talk a little bit about the ashy version too. Which
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, so as you guys know, we have many biomes in Ashes of Creation. But one of the things we're playing with, that kind of ties into a little bit maybe of the weather system, but I guess it's not just a weather system, right? It's like even an event system, like ash coming out of a volcano,
Whoa.
impacting the local biome with this kind of ash, material layer or whatever that exists on, terrain or
These
foliage
pictures are
actors and
really
stuff like
cool.
that. Just to go the next level in seeing how events change the world, seeing how weather can change the world. So you have a lot of these concepts of these biomes, and not just the biomes, but these types of natural events that occur, the lava flowing, the whatever.
Man.
And how that affects the nearby area. So love these concept pieces. I think a lot of these are from Ricky. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, doing
amazing.
a great job. Obviously concepts are a huge and very important piece of the
Wow.
asset pipeline.
It looks really
because,
cool.
This is what modelers have to reference.
I love this idea having like this ash covered forests. That's really
when
cool to
they're
me.
kind of making sure they're hitting the mark on what the target goal visually is for a particular area or for a particular asset.
And like you guys have seen, you see the concept art and then you've seen the end game, and it's like hard
Yeah.
to tell sometimes
Oh
the
yeah,
difference.
our modelers are very talented modelers.
This is so cool. Like an entrance to a dungeon. You want to go in there. You want to go into the volcano. And there's these really cool like lava golems outside with spikes. I don't know.
they really stay true.
This just
to
looks like so
what the
much fun to
concept piece
play.
is,
And getting that mood down
from an
and
art
that
style
vibe.
perspective.
Yeah.
Those
Absolutely.
like flying
Absolutely.
manta rays.
Now we can switch it.
Lava
Got your
manta
dwarf
rays, what
ready.
the heck?
Here you go.
All
Dwarf
right,
boy.
so to preface the Dwarf Boy, let's just say this is some work that's been done to amend the dwarven body and appearance from the Dunir's perspective.
Still a work in progress.
It's still a work in progress. However, it's very important that you guys recognize our goal is to take community feedback into account when we're developing the game. And that's the whole purpose of a transparent development process. Is imagine if we didn't have the opportunity to hear from the players how they feel Dunir Dwarf should look. And then
Wow.
we build a bunch of stuff around the Dunir dwarfs and all the character armor and all, the race-related production
everything,
and the
yeah.
animation, everything. And we get to a launch point or we get to a beta point, and now it's really much more difficult to go back and change things. So that's why it's super important you guys give your commentary and you tell us, what you're looking for, because we get to go back and we get to amend the model and we get to change things. And that's answering basically what you guys as the players have given us as the developers information that is very important to the development. So super big shout out to you guys in the community, giving us your
Big.
feedback, telling us what you
I
would
like
like to
these thick
see,
dwarves
because it
a
is a
lot
great
more.
directionary tool for us to take a look at and then use as reference pieces, even potentially where we get to change these things.
All right. And I'm just going to show our lovely orc folks again, just for if you didn't and you're watching this like post live stream, we did talk a little bit more about the orcs in the previous segment. So definitely go check that out.
Okay.
If I forget to put a timestamp in there. But
Should be
here's
fatter, you
Margaret's gonna
think?
kill
They're
me
too
after this
beefy?
stream.
green
Like-
one. I'm not going to kill you.
I'm
And then
just
here's
kidding.
the red version. But we have, a lot of work in progress in regards to orcs and where they're going to be playing out. This is just the base model, so you can, go a little bit wider, more muscular or less muscular. All right, next up, we've got our Halcyon Spire, which we'll show here.
Okay.
So this is kind of the progress you'll see here is, I thought I
The
had
shield
this
looks
with
pretty cool.
concept, but I guess it's going backwards. So we have the concept art for it. Then you get to see kind of like what the high poly model looks like. And then of course the final product. But it looks pretty amazing. I think the art team did a fantastic job. I think Steven
Yeah.
has some concerns with how it's like curved, but maybe we'll make some
Yeah,
adjustments.
no,
I think the Nikua, the other dwarf race, I think they're gonna be the fatter ones. I think so. Everyone will be too strong if the dwarves are strong too. Yeah, maybe. The humans didn't seem that strong at all, and the elves definitely weren't. Hey, Luke Pike. Can't make a whole race fat by default though. Yeah. Just like the Nikua get shafted. They all have like beer bellies and they're just like a lot slower than the other races. It's like, well, sucks. You picked the wrong race. Yeah, I think the Nikua. Yeah, I don't know. I don't mind having them being muscular and good looking because they're going to be covered with armor anyway, right? But as long as you can adjust sliders and make them fatter or skinnier or stuff, then we're good.
I think the detail is amazing.
Yeah, I definitely could lose a couple
and I
pounds
think
myself.
It looks great. The
Yeah,
only
no,
thing
I got
would
it.
probably take a look at is just that kind of more concave.
I like it.
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
like it.
different. I don't know if I like it or don't yet, but the model itself is beautiful.
I'm excited to see
And,
someone make cosplay of it too, because people
Yeah,
have made some
absolutely.
cosplay of some of our other shields and swords before.
For sure.
And
Wow.
I won't show this guy for too long, but this is our ebon.
Oh, it looks so good. It's such a cool mount.
Our ebon
Yeah.
omen, which Stephen did show off in game as well. If you were watching,
No,
that portion.
it still
Yeah.
has some effects work that needs to be done to kind of bring the glowiness out of those interior.
You could see it pulsating under
sections.
its tummy though. 'Cause it
Yes.
was like, oh, I like
It
it.
looked so
yeah.
cool.
I want to see that when this guy gets summoned, that like the little crows fly away and like disperse. Like as he's getting summoned out of, you're pulling him out of your inventory or whatever, these little crows just fly away and make some caw sounds and he disappears.
Oh,
That'd be
Yeah,
really
that'd be
cool,
that's
too.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm into it. All right, and then next up we
Chill
have the
Coaster, welcome to the
Spectral Eye,
stream.
and you're going to see the same process.
Yeah,
the
I don't know.
concept art for
I
this.
wonder if the crows come
then
with
the
it
high
too.
poly model, which you're seeing right now, and then the final product, and also on a model here for you.
Guys, I'm so excited to play
Yeah,
this.
I love that. I think Atkins did this one. The
Like this is a headpiece. It's not like super amazing, but it's kind of cool. And I think with some with some transmogs, it could look really, really cool.
It looks so simple in the concept, and then when you see it on, it actually looks like a little bit more intricate. It's
Oh
cool.
yeah. What is this, like a gem of true sight?
Maybe.
Like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. You just see any invisible creatures and/or players. No,
I think maybe for the NPC version,
Right.
but player version, this is just a cosmetic. Doesn't actually give you
Yeah.
benefit. But we will have other versions of like eye patch like things. So if you like that vibe and that look, we'll have more in-game things that you can attain. And then
Pirate
the
stuff?
Magistrate. which, Steven showed off in game as well, but I want to give you kind of those like
Oh, I should
Man.
have been a female character. I like her hat.
More,
It's more like
yeah.
a crown almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it looks really
Yeah.
good. I really like the look of this. The helmet of this looks a little funky, but hers looks awesome. I really, really like the level of detail in this. How many other games have this level of detail in the transmog and stuff? I can think of maybe like 2, but it's like the same. It's got like an Assassin's Creed type vibe to it. I really like it. Luke Pike. Think I'll be excited closer to the dates. I don't want to hype myself and get disappointed if it takes too long or doesn't live up to the hype. Yeah. Let me get excited because I'm the streamer. I'm like the content creator. I'm supposed to be hyped and try to make things entertaining. But yeah, you just hang back, relax, and I'll do all the worrying and stuff for you.
This is a crown, but a different style. It's very much like.
Agree. It's so nice that they adjusted their skin colors too. Yeah, so this is the what race is this again? The Veyloon. So this is the Veyloon race. And it's nice that they've adjusted the skin colors. Yeah, for sure.
Gesture almost.
I also really liked the physics on the cloth. I think those are
Oh,
weighted
yeah.
perfectly. It was looking pretty cool.
That's one of
It's
the
not
things I
right.
perfect,
mentioned
I think
too.
when you like turn around, it's still kind of
Yeah,
flaps a little.
that's
It's getting there.
true. We just need to put like bounds where it can flap around too. But I thought as I was like riding the horse per se, and it was like trailing behind me, like that type of weighting was really cool.
I know
Yeah.
talking to Catkins, he's like the cloth stuff is the weighting on cloth, like whether it's like, a beautiful dress or like a cloak, or in this case, it's kind of like almost like a scarf vibe, is definitely always a pain in the booty. But once you get it,
Oh, yeah.
it looks so lovely.
It does
and
look really
fantastic.
cool.
But yeah,
I like
it's looking
it.
sick. And then I have a turntable of this for you all as well.
Oh, a turntable. So fancy.
Yeah,
The one
beautiful.
thing this
They
outfit is
posed it
missing,
like the concept art. Sorry, go
it's
ahead.
missing sandals. They need
You
sandals.
didn't have sandals in the concept art.
I know.
Well, some people like to show off their toes. I was
That's
joking
true.
that we should put like little emojis on the feet, so because like a lot of people do that on social media right now.
I know. My doctor said I can't wear sandals anymore, so
I know, poor
maybe
Steven.
that's
How
why
are
we
you going to be
didn't
the
put-
sandal lord?
I don't even know. I would just carry a sandal with me, just like put it in my pocket or something.
Just like you're like if someone's naughty, you just take the sandal out.
Yeah, just smack them.
HR.
The clothes look
Stacy's like,
really
what's
good.
happening? Why
Oh,
are we
no.
slapping people with sandals? All right, that is it for our character art at the moment. A lot of them are working actually on fixing up some of the models and things like that. They're working on our dwarf model, so that's all that stuff is kind of being in the work in progress, and also pumping out some of the other creatures that we have. I think some of the more mount and pet oriented creatures, so that we can fill the world up a little bit more for design in regards to dungeons and things that they have planned. Like the next set is actually, the next cosmetic set is for a specific dungeon. So definitely stay tuned for the lore on that because it's pretty sick.
Okay.
We'll get right into the Q&A and we'll wrap things up if that works for you, Steven. Unless you have something extra you want to add.
Sounds good. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I do have a hard stop at 12:30 though, so I don't know how many
Okay.
questions we have.
Let's try to power through as many as we can.
All right, rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
All
The
right.
first one is from Sunscript on the forums asking about Alpha 1 archetypes, and they want to know, should we be expecting any significant changes to the ability list shown for the archetypes that were playable in Alpha 1? And I would say
Yes, absolutely.
right? 100.
The
Oh, wow.
ability list in Alpha 1 is nowhere near what the ability list will be, especially from like a level/progression standpoint. So you can expect it to be incredibly different.
Whoa, that is so cool. I think that's one of the number one feedback that I've gotten on my classes videos is how the abilities seemed pretty basic. I mean, the mage shoots a fireball and the mage has like a blink black hole thing. I don't know, like it seemed kind of basic, right? But they're saying they're really reworking all the classes and the abilities. That's really cool.
Next one is from Morph the Great. wanting to know about difficult content. What is your opinion on allocating dev resources to make something that only a tiny percentage of people will experience, like a quest achievable for one person? And would that be possible? So they're looking for like that
I think
high-end content.
I think there's ways that you can still achieve that high-end content that's like one-off, but not have as much production resources allocated to creating that particular one-off. You can still leverage the mass production, perspective of how we go about curating content and whatnot. But I do think it's really cool to have those types of things in place. So
Me too.
that is something that will be present in Ashes.
All right.
Yeah.
Our next question here is about weapon combos from Azhari. I don't know how to say your name, so if I'm saying it wrong, I apologize. I gave you 5 different options, but the question is regarding weapon combos. Were the attack strings we saw from melee weapons in Alpha 1 part of the weapon use combo system that has been mentioned in previous information on weapons, or is the weapon use combo system still intended as something else entirely?
The combo system plays heavily into the weapon skill trees that were not present in Alpha 1. However, there will be
Okay.
certain types of effects and or procs that can occur based on what stage in a combo attack you are a part of. And you can potentially augment that necessity with set bonuses and gear bonuses as well. So for example,
Okay.
let's say you have, dual daggers and you as a rogue, have a lot of effects that in your active ability system that have additional synergies with a bleed effect. And your bleed proc occurs on a potentially, with some percentage, on a third attack with your dual daggers because you spec'd into that weapon skill tree to have that potential bleed effect occur. You might have some abilities that cause bleed effects as well, but if you want to alternate between utilizing skill rotations and attacking with your dual daggers with your weapon attacks,
Okay.
on your third combo string, you have the ability potentially to land a bleeding blow. But if you have, let's say, the gauntlets of the sneaky rogue or whatever, that might say
Very
that any
creative.
third combo attack effect can occur on your second combo attack as well. So we're playing with a little bit with the idea of how we interact itemization with your weapon skill tree and the importance of those types of procs.
Awesome.
Okay,
Next
so
question.
that's pretty interesting. That's interesting how there's going to be a whole progression system with combo attacks, and when you level up your weapons, not only are you going to augment certain things, make certain attacks or abilities with that weapon stronger, kind of like New World, right? Like New World's just the example that's in my head right now. How you can upgrade your rapier to do bleed to proc bleeding damage, or your gun that you can load it longer, or if you're like your musket. I'm all over the place, but basically, like your musket, you can you do more damage if you do headshots. Like you can level that up. You can level up crits. So I think there's some really cool ideas there, but there's also combo attacks. So maybe every 5 attacks you have a chance to proc an ability. That's cool. I didn't realize there was going to be combos in Ashes of Creation.
Is from Nostra wanting to know about node XP. For each specific node stage, are all 4 node types going to provide equivalent node XP gain opportunities to allow for competitive advancement across quest-based XP, gathering XP, and monster kill XP?
So the question is, will all node types have the same type of XP sources?
Are all 4 node types going to provide equivalent node XP gain opportunities to allow for competitive advancement across all of the types?
Absolutely. Yeah, from a design perspective, we want to be as equitable as possible with those particular node types. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Right. And our next one is from Magic Man wanting to know about quest. Will all 3 types of quest, narrative, event, and tasks be given by NPCs, or is there a specific location for each of those, like a notification board in town for tasks and some sort of announcement for events and NPCs for narrative?
I think it's going to be pretty spread out. So some will be on some boards, some won't be on board, some will be hidden, some will be local. If you move into an area, you'll see it. Some will be
Hmm.
gathered from a quest giver. There's going to be a lot of opportunities by which these quests can be almost discovered as well as known to go to a specific location for.
That's cool.
So having a
Variety.
mixture about those, yeah, variety, exactly.
George Black wants to know about blocking. Can you give us any developments regarding active block, hold button down to block since Apocalypse?
Not yet. That's something that is scheduled for the prototype phase that we're going to be discussing internally amongst the designers and the combat team, and then we will likely share with the community once we've nailed down a few approaches and prototype them out.
I think you actually mentioned that in the
Okay.
design segment about blocking and
Yep.
parrying and stuff.
Yep.
Weightlifter.
I don't know how I feel about blocking and parrying. Maybe those are systems I'm not really used to in MMORPGs. But that's not something that I'm looking for. I'm honestly not looking for action combat as much as I am for the immersion and fluidity of something. So I need to see it to have an official opinion about it, but I am hesitant as of right now.
445 wants to know about Arena. Can you give us any updates and features in regards to the Arena?
I hope this game doesn't have a strict meta. Also hope there isn't a lot of meta gaming pre-release. I think that's one of the exciting things about playing a brand new MMORPG is that there is no meta, right? You kind of jump into it and you have to figure out what's good and what's bad. I think there's gonna be a little bit, because there's gonna be betas before the game comes out. So I think there's already. Here's the thing: is whether people are right or not, content creators are going to try to make guide videos and meta videos because they're trying to get views, they're trying to make content. And so there's going to be some of that for sure. But I think what I'm most excited for about this game is how it evolves and how it's going to be different for every person on every server. It's always nice to have block and parry. Yeah, I could see that. I tend the type of games and MMORPGs that I've played haven't had those. Even other like single player story games haven't really had block and parry. I know there's like Dark Souls and things, but I feel like that's in a whole separate category. And I'm scared when an MMO tries to be like Dark Souls. The blocking and parrying is kind of one of the things that I dislike about New World, but I think that's a whole nother topic. How to get any girl with this technique? How to kill any noob in RuneScape with this technique? Yeah. How to farm a lot of gold in WoW with this technique? Yep. So people are gonna come out with metas and guides. Like they're already doing that, and there's literally no systems in the game. Like there's lots of people trying to make videos, making guides for stuff already, just based off of Alpha 1. So I don't think there's any way around that. And let's be honest, I feel like eventually there's gonna be a meta. Whether we like it or not, there's gonna be a meta. But I'm not really playing the game for those reasons. What I'm playing the game for is more just to have fun, make fun content. The RP side of things I'm not like super into, but I think that's why I play MMORPGs is to RP maybe a little bit and to be immersed. So whether there's a meta or not, I think I'll still have fun with the game. But I hope that it's a long time before people start coming up with the metas. I don't want people think of World of Warcraft. There's so many websites out there that do all these crazy calculations and they tell you this is the best spec for you. These are the best abilities. These are the weapons. These are the stats and guide build that you're going for. So if there might be websites like that for Ashes of Creation, but I hope there's not. Having strangers and all, yeah, I literally, this is why I started streaming, is to make more connections with you guys and to play games with you guys and like have fun and make content, you know? So I think I'm going to be less focused in my videos about the guides and like the best way, like less of a news and guide channel and more of a fun, let's make some good content channel. I do have a lot of RuneScape, but most people just ignore my jokes. Yeah, I actually love RuneScape a lot, but that definitely has a meta too. There's for sure a meta in RuneScape.
You know, the arena system, as we've spoken about before, is going to have ladder systems where people can progress within certain.
I'm just going to rewind just a little bit to get the question.
5 wants to know about arena. Can you give us...
Type them out.
I think you actually mentioned that in the design segment about blocking and parrying and stuff.
Okay.
Weightlifter 445 wants to know about arena. Can you give us any updates and features in regards to the arena?
PvP.
You know, the arena system, as we've spoken about before, is going to have ladder systems where people can progress within certain seasons based on their like win-loss ratios. The importance of arenas are obviously that players have an opportunity to participate, practice out certain builds from a PvP perspective, and can compete with one another within the system. So not a lot has changed on the idea of how arenas are going to be facilitated within Ashes of Creation. We've spoken about this in the past on a few occasions, so I would recommend checking out the wiki for arenas, but the intent again is to give players an opportunity to participate against one another in a structured format.
So it's a basic PvP arena. There's no crazy news about it.
Like a smaller scale for the arena stuff, right? Versus sieging is large scale.
Yeah. Right.
Easty or SD wants to know about guilds. Will there be an option to customize guild roles? For example, either creating our own ranks or picking from a list of options, maybe apart from the essential ones such as guild master, an officer, or even allowing these to be renamed?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's going to be functionality present within the administration tools of guilds where you can customize the names of particular ranks that you want to grant specific types of permissions to. You'll have a list of permissions that you can create custom roles, and you'll be able to check mark those permissions so that that role has access to those things and you can assign them out to your members. Additionally, you know, there's something to be said for how guild structure from a membership perspective is organized, right? Having like, you know, night groups and having, you know, specific compartments or departments within the guild structure that has a leader associated with it. That's one of your officers. Like, I think that's a cool concept as well. There's a lot of ideas we have on the administration side and how the UI and just mechanics of a particular guild structure is facilitated.
That's really cool. That gets me really excited to start our guild because we're gonna have a pirate/marauder guild where we're not gonna hunker down at any one place too much. We're gonna be kind of migrating slowly throughout the land. People are gonna be hiring us to do certain tasks, to defend caravans, to attack caravans, same with sieges and stuff. I think that's the type of guild we're going to go for. I love the idea of being able to travel around and being able to explore all the parts of Ashes of Creation. Maybe we'll find one spot eventually that we want to like hunker down and like, this is our node and no one's taking it type thing. But yeah, the idea of being able to have separate groups within your guild is really appealing to me because we can have like our elite task force, like our top, 30 players that are just so good at the game. They're like so geared up, so strong. And then we also have like a group that is our night task force. While I'm not playing, maybe they're the leaders and they're controlling things. We could have like a whole separate group for people who just want to contribute resources to the guild, or they want to be a crafter, but they're not super into like the sieges or the caravan raiding systems. So we could have like a whole separate hierarchy and section for people who just want to craft and who just want to like farm items and farm creatures and mounts, and they want to provide the guild with this mount. So that's their job. They're like the horse person in the guild that gives everyone horses. I don't know. I think we could set up some pretty cool systems for sure. Practicing my guild practicing my guild roles. Yeah. Yes, like an arc. Yeah, I think what he described wasn't anything like revolutionary in how guilds are set up and able to assign roles and take away or add permissions. But I'm just glad that he's confirming that will be in it. And it got me excited for my guild, and I had to talk about it a little bit. Hey, Adam, I gotta go. I have to sleep. It's 1 a.m. here. I wake up in 5 hours? Dude, holy cow. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching the stream. Yeah, go to bed, man. Come by again another time. Luke Pike, yes, give me the stable boy blacksmith rules. Dude, I would, Luke, I'm totally down. Are you in our guild on Discord? I can't remember if you joined already, but I'm totally down. If you want to be like the lead blacksmither or like the head over the stables and you're in charge of managing mounts throughout the guild, because mounts are going to be able to be tradable too. It's like an actual item. And he mentioned there's only going to be a couple items or mounts that are actually like bind on equipped. Everything else will be able to be traded freely. So you being in charge of like all the mounts over the guild would be awesome. Yeah, Kurchach, take care, mate. It was nice to be here. Yeah, keep coming by, man. Yeah, I'm totally down, Luke, for sure.
All right. And our next question is from Neurotoxin about dwarves. How much work went into armoring the model for the formerly Dunir compared to the Nakua? Or was the original Dunir done first in anticipation that it could end up being Nakua proportions instead? So basically, I'm not quite sure about the question, but I'm wondering if I think they're meaning like, did we start with one and then kind of alter it to make the other, or how do we?
Well, each race has its. So when you think about modeling armor pieces, each
Take
race
care,
has
dude.
its
Good
own
night.
set of geo for individual pieces, right? So if you're talking about like pauldrons and greaves and breastplate and stuff like that, we don't just take a Dunir breastplate and then deform the breastplate to the Nakua. We can do that, and sometimes we might do that, but generally our approach from an asset production standpoint with character is that each race is getting its custom geo pieces, which then will share thematic components such as color palette, attachments, design.
That's so
filigree.
Cool. That's so much work. Like, just think about World of Warcraft, how all they do is stretch the armor to fit the character. That's why like helmets look terrible on certain races, is because they're just stretched. But they're saying for every item, they're custom making versions of it for each character, and the straps might change, the sizing might change. I don't know, it's really cool. And we've actually seen that a couple times when you see the breast piece on a female dwarf and then on the male dwarf, how it changes. They're doing that for the races as well.
Those types of things will get shared across the geo. But generally, you're going to see unique races with unique geo.
Right.
That's really cool. That's extra work, but it's more immersion.
Is from One Piece at 33, and they want to know about ships. Will players be able to own their own ships? Will nodes themselves be provided with their own marine ships once they reach a certain level? Basically, like, can they get on a ship that's like owned by the city, or like would they only be able to own their own?
Generally, ship creation is going to be delegated to the players. So there won't be a lot of non-player owned ships in the world. There may be some escort-related quest lines that have NPC-driven ships that can probably move between nodes. They might be related to the trading system and diplomacy between harbor-driven, or harbor-oriented nodes. But for the most part, all ship creation will be delegated to the player.
You're going to have to build up a ship or find somebody who has one if you want to get across the seas.
That's right. Now, there will be NPC ships out on the ocean that are adversaries or monsters, and those will be targets for players to go out and potentially try to raid, destroy, kill.
Oh, man, that makes me just so excited for our pirate guild, right? Yeah, I just want to get on the ship with the boys, go out, plunder some other pirates. It's going to be awesome.
Treasure find and all that kind of stuff.
All right. And that wraps it up for our Q&A, as I know you have to
please limit amounts. Ship spam would be too much. Yeah, and there's no way the ships are gonna constantly live out in the world. Like they're just gonna spawn in or spawn out if you want to use your ship, like a mount, you know. But yeah, it'll be interesting how they balance that.
To wrap things up as well. But thank you so much for joining us for our dev update.
Yeah.
As a reminder, October's coming along, which means that we usually do some fun spoopy events.
Yeah, I'm really excited for I just want to see their October sets that they're going to make for cosmetics because I love the creepier, darker side of things. So I hope they make more along those lines because they've made sort of these like cutesy things lately. And I don't know if I'm as into those. But yeah, wish you could hijack ships as pirates. That would be cool. I think you can. I think you can hijack ships. I believe that was one of the things they said. I know that you can destroy other people's ships. So when they are destroyed, the people actually have to like swim back to shore and either build a new one like super fast with like stocked up resources or pull out one of their backup ships that they have. So you definitely can completely destroy ships. At least to a point of being repaired, or I don't know how that system will work, but yeah, and I believe you can jump on other people's ships and ride them around. But I don't know. I do not know. That's what I'm excited to find out.
I'm not going to tease too much, but we normally do a Glorious Gourd event. So if you're interested in that and you had fun last year, there's even more stuff in store for you coming up this year with some cool rewards. So stay tuned for more information regarding that. Of course, we will have a new dev discussion and some guild gathering information for you all. So give us as much feedback in regards to those. And a reminder that our September cosmetics are going to be swapping over on October 6th. So if you want those, snag them while they're hot.
October
Of course,
6th?
this video will be available for you right after we're done with the stream.
Okay, cool. Hey guys, well, I really liked watching this, and it's getting pretty late here, so I'm gonna call the stream good. But once again, thank you everyone for stopping by and watching the stream. Luke, Kerchek, all you guys that have made comments throughout the live stream. What am I scrolling for? What am I looking for? Yeah. Anyway. Had a really good time with the stream. I'm excited for Ashes of Creation. We're going to have lots of videos coming out. If you guys want to join our Ashes of Creation guild or just come hang out, look at memes, talk with the boys on Discord, then definitely come join the Discord. And as always, guys, break a leg.